What is up, everyone? It is your boys from Melbourne, and we are back for yet another special edition of the official NBA Beancast. This is the second episode of the week. As Praddy's mentioned in the previous episode, we're moving to a new release schedule. And this one will be a more discussion-based episode where we talk about the Western Conference contenders, like we did about the East last week. So, Praddy?
Yeah, so obviously we'll go through all of the teams as usual. Start from the top, go to the bottom. For the teams that are most likely locked into the playoffs, we can talk about whether they're contenders for the finals or whether they're pretenders straight up. And then once we get to the bottom half, we can say whether they're even contenders for the playoffs in general. And then at the end, as Bill said previously, we'll talk about the possible matchups and how we think those are going to go. But to get things started, guys, I have a bit of trivia for you guys this time, and I'm taking a bit I can't remember the phrase, but going with Bill's style a little here and giving you guys a bit of a stat trivia. There is only one current player in the top 100 worst career field goal percentage.
Whoa.
Can you guys guess who that might be?
Is there all right? Give me the qualifying
Kendrick
number.
Nunn.
How many FGAs to make this list?
Let's say, I'll put it this way: they've been in the NBA for more than 3 seasons.
Yeah. All right. That'll do.
I was thinking Devontae Graham, but it's not. It can't be him then.
Let's see. They've been in the NBA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons.
So they got drafted in 2015.
That's correct. Let's see. This guy. I'll give you the number just because it's a pretty dreadful number. 37.8% for his career.
Yeesh. All right. Is he a regular rotation player?
Yes, very regular.
Andrew Wiggins.
Can't
be Wiggins. It really can't be.
My guess could have been Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, but he's been in the league since 2012, so can't be him.
What else can I give you?
Drafted in 2015.
Drafted in 2015. A first-round pick as well, in case that helps.
That was an absolute wasteland of a draft,
top 10 pick, actually.
Wait. Is it? No, it's not Shabazz Muhammad. He wasn't a top 10 pick, and it was 2014.
Brad, I know who it is.
I think you do.
I think I've got it.
Who is it?
Marcus Smart.
My man.
Hey! My man!
Bro. Oh, my God.
Marcus Smart, more like
I didn't realize his career field goal percentage is that low.
Oh, that was underrated, guys. You weren't listening.
What did he say?
Jinky has made that joke so many times now. I'm kind of immune to it.
Bruh.
Oh.
That's surprising. I was thinking like 2015, and then you're like, he was a top 10. And I'm like,
yeah, so he was a number 6 overall pick.
Yeah. And then I was literally just thinking, who was a pickup then who isn't, glaringly obviously above average field goals.
Dude, I thought it was 2014. I thought Smart was drafted in 2014 for some reason. Don't know why.
No,
feels like he's been in the league longer than 5 years.
Yeah, he feels like he's already a veteran just because his face has a lot of I guess you'll have to call them imperfections,
The only way I remember...
Hey, bro, come on, man.
No, I mean, look at the man's face. You know what I mean.
We don't unnecessarily attack people's appearances on the official NBA Beancast, Brad.
Unless we can get him a Maybelline sponsor.
Correct.
Which we would greatly suggest for Marcus Smart. But anyway...
Makeup? Come on, man. It's not what we do here. Going forward.
It's mean.
This is not necessary.
Kaz, the only way I remember that draft is because Wiggins was first and Dante was 5th.
Wiggins was first in 2014. I thought he was taken in the Wiggins draft.
No,
he was taken in the Wiggins draft.
Yeah, no, it was 14.
Praddy!
Yeah, no, I know.
Praddy, you screwed me. I thought it was 2014.
No. So
he meant for 5 years.
Yeah, so
that's all I
they
say.
played was 15.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got it, Praddy, don't worry. That's what helped me, because I was like going down the list, and that's why I said Wiggins as a joke, at the start, and then I was like, it can't be Joel. He was another top 10. Aaron Gordon was a top 10. Dante Exum was probably my next guess, but he's not a terrible.
Was Exum 2014?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Because that was my last year of high school. I remember we were on the Kangaroo Kobe hype train. And then I think it was like Randall and Noah Vonleh maybe, and Alfred Payton.
Oh, Noah Vonleh, what a name.
Elf on a shelf.
The rest of those guys are a decent field goal percentage. So for me, it was Dante or Smart pretty quickly.
Jesus, Dante is not that much better. He's at 40.7% from the field.
What's he from D?
30.8.
Right, I'll give it to Marcus Smart though. He's one of those. He's one of those guys now who a decent chunk of his shots are 3-point shots now, and he's at least league average for threes.
Yeah, I mean, like this season has been quite a turnaround for him, especially since.
And he's doing 31% on his career as well.
32 nearly, yeah. So you're getting there. Well, his last two seasons basically 35% or better.
Yeah. I mean, you could have guessed Giannis since all he does is dunk.
2013. 2013.
Never
And
mind.
dunks are very high percentage shots.
Yes.
I'd say they do count for field goal. I thought it was like you had to be like away from, I don't know, out of the key or something.
All right, it's weird, but any shot that could be worth points except for a free throw is a field goal. Okay. But then there's more specifically, there's 3-point field goal, which is obviously anything from outside the arc.
So every
shot
attempt is a field goal attempt, but not every field goal attempt is a 3-point attempt.
Okay, right.
All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
No, this is a IQ test question. There's another one. And free throw is obviously not that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, there we go. Marcus Smart, do more, shoot better.
So now we can just jump right into things because, as we said many times, we've already covered the news for this week. So jumping right into it, guys, the Lakers. We can get this out of the way. Contender or pretender?
Contender.
Easy. Not much to discuss. They've topping the Western Conference.
Fair margin.
Yeah. I think up. I mean, we already talked about it in news, but just the way that they're going to match up is going to be interesting. I would honestly, I mean, we'll talk about this later, but my matchup I'd love to see is Houston Lakers, but just for how they match up completely differently, I think it'd be interesting.
Shall we just move on then?
Yeah, no, there's not really much to talk about the Lakers.
Okay,
to be honest.
Nice and easy then. The LA Clippers,
the best team in the West.
Yeah,
contenders.
Clippers, to me, I don't think they can not win everything. I think there's no way.
I think there is a distinct chance that they don't win everything, but
especially
they're obviously contenders. Yeah,
I can't see them not winning the finals. They're just too good. I can't see.
If none of their role players show up, then they might not win.
And since half of them are already missing.
Yeah, well,
it's not far to miss all of them.
All right, if they don't actually, if they're missing in terms of they're not actually in Orlando, I fully agree with Pratty. But
if Montrezl Harrell doesn't show up, I could definitely see the Lakers beating them.
I can't see it happening. I just can't.
Prad, what do you reckon? If there's no Harrell, the rest of the roster is the same. What do you reckon?
I still think that if they still have Lou Williams coming off the bench, that's going to be a pretty tough because here's my general thinking is that Kawhi and PG essentially neutralize, LeBron and AD. So those two are there's two other matchups that in the sense that okay,
what do you mean by neutralize?
In the sense that their outputs are going to be relatively similar.
I agree with Pratty. Yeah, I agree. I get what you mean, Pratty. The difference is going to be from 3 down, and Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley, Montrez, and the rest.
If Montrez doesn't show up,
Marcus Morris even as their 7th best player.
But then the problem with how the Clippers would be set up without Harrell is that you've got Anthony Davis with literally no one with enough size to stop him.
Okay,
No one is stopping AD.
Zubat, pending level 25 to evolve into Golbat.
He's not a Golbat yet, bro. He's still a
He
Zubat.
might be. We haven't seen him for a while.
He's still a Mount Moon motherfucker still.
Well, they have to find him first.
I can't see it happening, and no team in the whole league has anybody that can defensively match up well with the Clippers, especially in 7 games. I just don't think.
Yeah, based on how the Clippers attack, the Lakers probably they will have some trouble. But
the Lakers I don't think will be fast enough to hang with the Clippers.
And I think the way that the Bucks defend is uniquely poorly suited for a team like the Clippers.
I think the Bucks would match up better. It's like the other week when we were talking about the Raptors, the Celtics, the Bucks. I reckon the Bucks match up better with the Clippers
Then
Rock, paper, scissors kind of situation.
than the Lakers.
See, because the problem you've got with the Bucks, because now the Lakers have lost they've lost a significant chunk of perimeter defense. But then the problem you've got with the Bucks is that unless they show some flexibility in the way that they scheme on defense, they're just going to be rained on from 3-point range.
PG and Kawhi aren't going to be taking threes. So, but anyways, yeah, I literally.
Sorry,
PG's not going to be taking threes.
Nah, he's going to be taking those inefficient mid-range 2-pointers like he did last playoffs.
Have you been watching Paul George play any of the past 3 or 4 seasons?
Mate, I'm saying playoff P is coming in full effect.
Playoff P.
Playoff P. Yeah, that's
only taking inefficient mid-ranges.
Well, then the way
we need
forward
to
is
account
clear.
for playoff
Obviously,
P.
the Lakers are going to destroy the Clippers.
Luckily they
it's
have.
Not going to be a competitive series.
They have Kawhi.
Nah, so if the Clippers are fully healthy and Paul George misses the rest of the games in the bubble, I could see that the Clippers would not lose
a game.
Zero chance of losing.
Don't lose a game.
Yeah.
So they're contenders, and we've joked about them well enough. What about? Okay, so this is a bit more of an interesting one. The Nuggets.
Man,
I think it's a similar situation to Boston in the East. I don't think they have quite enough top end talent to be called a all out a contender, but I think they're like a lower level contender.
I think Karan is absolutely holding the fact that Slim Jokic might be the best player of all time. That being said, I'm the same boat. I think it's weird to say, but if these guys knocked an LA team out of the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised. But I just don't think they have 2 or 3 really good series in them. I just don't think they have that.
So I'm going to say
they need a star on the perimeter, I reckon.
And last year's playoffs for them, I know they were eliminated in 7 in the second round, but even their first round, I'm pretty sure, was 7 against San Antonio, and they should have slapped them. They should have beaten. Was it Portland second round last year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it couldn't have been.
No, because
it was.
It was Warriors versus Portland in the third round.
I don't know who it was, but either way, they've been poor in playoffs.
Yeah, it would have to have been Portland.
Was it? Yeah, well, either way.
Yeah, because the Warriors played the Rockets in the second round.
And that's right, they lost in 7 to Portland. But yeah, either way, they've underperformed in playoffs the last few years.
I wouldn't say they've underperformed.
I think they've performed about as well as you can expect from such a
especially because for the team that they had last year, especially, they had almost no playoff experience on that team.
Exactly.
Paul Millsap had the most experience, and he was the only one with experience, really.
Last year would have been the second year.
Yeah, whereas you've got Portland has been there for the last 6 years. San Antonio has not missed any playoffs.
But that's my problem is it's not the series result. It's the game-by-game result. They shouldn't even get to 7 games against the Spurs in the first round or Portland. They should have beaten Portland. Probably 5 games.
I think what Brad's trying to say is that because the Nuggets they do have some playoff experience. All their players, I think they'll be better suited to potentially making some noise in the playoffs now. But I still don't think their roster construction is quite there to be able to beat a team like the Lakers or the Clippers.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a few weeks / months ago. They need Jamal Murray to be the next level, the next tier.
He's not there yet, but I will
think
say
they'd be
that-
better off if Gary Harris made the next year.
I don't think it's too late for him
I
now. But
don't think it's going to happen. They need a wing, I think.
Oh, what you don't?
Jamal Murray can be as good as he is, or even if he took the next step up, I still think they'd need a wing.
I think he's the one most likely.
Yeah.
Of the guys they have that can jump up, but
I'm going to say
Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, but he's played 20 games and they don't like playing him a whole bunch yet. Different story in a few years, but yeah, I mean, yeah.
To me, this team is a contender mainly because they just have so many ways they can attack. Like, if their 3-point shot is falling, great. They're gonna tear you apart from outside because Jamal Murray catching fire, or anyone else on the team, Will Barton, Gary Harris, someone can catch fire from outside. But if that's not falling, they have such great off-ball movement that they just have so many ways to win a game. It's going to be hard
they're a very good team. They're very much like San Antonio of 5 years ago. They do, I mean, yes, they do rely a fair bit on Jokic, but Jokic has 8-point games and they win by 20. Like, it's Boris Diaw 2014 finals kind of operation.
Don't you dare compare Boris Diaw to Nikola Jokic, okay?
No,
Jokic is like 50 kilos off now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's true. He is. I get what you're saying, Pratty, and I'm fully with you that they are good enough. I just don't think that they're good enough to do it for long enough. If they come up against Lakers Clippers in the second round, they could beat them. I fully agree with you. But then beating the other LA team the next round and then beating the Bucks, I just don't think they have it in them. I hope they do, because I'm the same as you.
I would be here for
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a very good team to watch the way they play the game.
To be fair, though, they wouldn't have to, like, based on the current playoff picture at least, they wouldn't have to play that one of those LA teams for a while, right? Because
second round, they're third.
Yeah, so then they would face what, the 6th seed?
Yeah, they play 6th seed and then into second round. They'd have to play one of them, right?
I thought they would face the Lakers, the LA teams would face each other first.
No,
because the bottom matchups would then go to the third round. It would, the winner of the lower half of the top 4 would go to the third round first, wouldn't they?
I'm getting it up right now. I'm pretty sure it's the other way, because you wouldn't have 2v1 in the second round. That's why I'm saying Denver.
Yeah, because it's set up how the second seed will play the first seed in the conference finals if they win out.
Yeah, here we go. I've got it here now. If I can actually get this above.
One thing to keep in mind, though, the Nuggets do not have the best paint presence, and I think that again is something that could bite them in the ass.
I get what you mean. Like, they have Nikola Jokic, they have Paul Millsap, but that's about it.
So the Nuggets would play.
And Millsap is not the healthiest.
So Nuggets, with the current standings, they'd play the Clippers second round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Shall we? Well, we can just move on to the Jazz from there, because I think this team is possibly the biggest pretender.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're overachieving.
I fully agree.
I'm not going to say they're overachieving. I think that in the regular season, they're a good enough team to get above all the teams that they're above.
They're definitely a 40-20 team.
Miami Heat type situation.
No, it's not even that, because like the Miami Heat, they had a whole bunch of rookies do really well, right? But for the Utah Jazz, they've got players who have been there for a while and they can play well. But once it reaches the playoffs, their system just can't beat any of the top teams.
We're looking at Donovan Mitchell. We need to see.
It's not the. No, I think this is being a little bit unfair to the Jazz and to Donovan Mitchell. It's not a system problem with the Jazz. It's a personnel problem.
Yeah.
They don't like.
They're no wings.
Their system is
yeah,
based
exactly.
on the
They're currently doing the absolute best that they can. I don't think any other coach could get any more out of this roster than Quinn Snyder is right now.
I'm with you, man. But what I'm saying is that their system is dependent on the players that they have, so it's a bit of both either way.
Yeah, but then I don't think there's anything else you could do with the Jazz's system to improve the way that they're playing. I don't think it's a system problem. I think it's just the front office needs to make an aggressive move for a wing.
Well, they could have done that if they didn't make the silly move to take on Mike Conley for.
I don't even think Conley's the problem. I think
he is because they would have had space. They would have had space for someone else.
Yeah, well, only if they did that. But yeah, I'm with Kaz. Like you're not a contender if you've got as good as they are Jingles and Bogdanovic as your starting 3 and 4. You're not doing any. You're not
Bojan.
Bogdan is on the Kings.
You're not. Especially in today's league where just about every single good team, with the exception of probably Houston, if your best players, if one of your 2 or 3 best players aren't a forward, you're just not. You could be a good team, but you're not a very good team. I think Utah.
Oh, you could be a very good team, just not a contender. I think Utah are a very, very good team. I don't think they're a contender.
Yeah, it's harsh. I can't see them winning. I mean, I know they're 4th, but I can't see them winning a series.
I think they also need a better first option than Donovan Mitchell to be consistently successful in the playoffs. I think Mitchell would probably, if he'd buy into playing as a second option, I think he'd be much better off in that case.
I think
because he shoots like a first option, he just doesn't.
I think if he was more capable of being more of a point guard, essentially. It would be
well, forget point guard. If he was better off the ball, or if he didn't need the ball as much to score.
I'm saying
I get what you mean.
If he could be
less
more,
usage,
Devin Booker style. Devin Booker's amazing, so I'm not going to say Donovan needs to step up to his level immediately. But if he could lead his team with the ball, but letting other people do stuff as well, that would be.
I actually think Mitchell is a better player than Booker. But yeah, I don't think that he just offers enough.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I think,
what? Are you kidding me?
What? Say what?
Are you joking?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I'm not having this argument. But I'm not arguing this.
You said it, not us.
This is not the crux of my point.
Okay, so, well, the Phoenix Suns are also in the picture, so we'll get to that later.
This is not what I'm trying to argue here. Well, all I'm saying is I think they do need a better first option scorer than Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. I agree.
That's
and I don't think I don't think Devin Booker is it though.
Oh no, I don't think Devin. If this is what you mean, I agree. Devin Booker replacing Donovan Mitchell wouldn't be a difference maker. No, but yeah, I'd like to see Donnie Mitchell. I just don't think we've seen him improve on his game that much from his rookie year. Just kind of disappointing because he did show a lot of promise. Yeah, I do agree with you, Kaz. I'd like to see not less usage, but just less usage be required to score as much as he does. Obviously, he's capable 25 point per game guy, but just being able to do so with less of the ball on less possessions would be nice for Utah. But yeah, I'd label them. I think Pratty labeled them accurately with his first sentence of the biggest pretender. I think it's harsh, but I think it's accurate.
All right.
I think it's. I agree.
Okay. Well, we can move on to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Guys, go ahead. What have you got?
They don't have enough.
So I want to get something out about this team, and just let me finish my sentence before you immediately scream.
Kaz, you've just pulled Donnie Mitchell's better than Devin Booker. Pratty's about to pull Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's better than James Harden or something.
No, this is gonna be rough.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have a team full of young / old guys, and then they're not looking to compete at all. This team, everyone's surprised that they're even in the playoffs. So for them, I'm saying that for their goals, they are a contender. Because for the Utah Jazz, the Denver Nuggets, and everyone up, they've been in the playoffs for a long time. They've been making the playoffs for a while. They have the goal of competing. The Thunder don't even have that goal. they're there because, like, you know, off the coattails of Russell Westbrook leaving, and now they're being led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari, and there's the fourth guy that I can't remember. Steven Adams. Like,
the fourth guy I can't remember.
Disrespect. What about Schroeder off the bench?
Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, he's on my fantasy team. I can't believe I got him. But anyway, like this team, no one expected them to even be in the playoffs. People thought Chris Paul would be out of there, you know, by the trade deadline. He thought he would be on the Miami Heat by now. So the fact that this team is number one in the playoffs as the 5th seed right now and have the opportunity to probably even beat the Utah Jazz, I think they're a contender for their goals.
I get what you mean, yeah. And I agree with you. I'll come out and say I didn't have them in the playoffs. Very surprising. They've gelled really well. Probably the main thing. And I'm the same as you. I wouldn't want to play this team in the first round. They will, like, they'll just fight and fight.
They'll
someone.
Scrap. They will shock someone.
They'll scrap. I don't care what team. If I'm the Lakers, if I'm the Clippers, if I'm Denver, if I'm Houston, if I'm the Mavs, I don't want to play OKC in the first round. Because, like, as you said, the veteran presence there. And then there's just the dare of the young players to, like, Shai.
They're not scared. They're not scared of anything.
I wouldn't want to play this team. I wouldn't bet against them in a single round. Obviously they're not winning at all. They're probably not winning multiple series. But yeah, I wouldn't want to face them in the first round. Scary prospect.
So Brad, are you saying that
probably playing Utah in the first round? What do you guys think?
No, I don't think we can definitively say where Utah, OKC, Houston, or Dallas finish in order. I think there's one game between the 4, but I'd take them over Utah.
Jacob, what were you getting at, mate?
So what you're saying is they're just there to have a good time.
Yes, exactly that.
Okay.
Exactly that. This team is just there to have fun.
Yeah.
That's pretty sus, Jacob.
They might surprise everybody.
Just keep having a good time and all the way to the finals.
They might be so relaxed
free
that
holiday.
they might just win.
Free holiday to Florida.
Oh.
No, probably the worst place to take a holiday right now. But,
yeah, it's like taking a holiday to a bloody
Petri dish.
An
North
ICU. Yeah, to the ICU ward.
The dome from the Simpsons movie. Classic.
Yeah. All right. This is more of a contentious one. The Houston Rockets. What have you guys got there?
Kaz can go first. Jesus. You know, I'm riding.
I know what Bill's gonna say, but
riding them out, brother.
So, considering we basically just completely changed the meaning of the word contender for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
For the Oklahoma City Thunder, because they shouldn't even be in the playoffs. Okay. Like, you gotta give them that one.
If you look at I didn't want to argue semantics, but if you look at the word contender, the OKC Thunder clearly are not it.
Yes.
Contender for a good time.
Yeah.
I think the Houston Rockets, as currently constructed, are probably in a similar boat to the Denver Nuggets. And I also don't think that being a lower seed is going to help.
Why? There's no home court anymore.
No, I know, but then they'd have to play a better team to start off.
But they are a good enough team to start off. What's it matter? There's no home court.
What are you basing this off?
There's no home court. Like, no one has an advantage anymore. Like, it don't matter.
I mean, the team with Bill, the team with the better players that is a higher seed probably has a better chance.
Well, that's literally not true in this case as a result of...
Yeah, if they finish 7th, I agree with you. If they finish 6th or 4th, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, no, like 6th or 4th is fine, but what I literally mean is that they're not one of the top 3 seeds. They're probably going to have to play one of Denver, the Lakers, or the Clippers in the first round.
No,
that's if they're 7. Yeah, all right, if they play Denver, I'm still taking Houston over Denver. That's it. No home court.
Don't know about that, man.
No home court.
The Denver Nuggets home court advantage is something that you have to mention. Like, if they were playing literally at home, then that's something that would majorly affect it. But
I think if the Nuggets were playing the Nuggets had home court advantage then I would take the Denver Nuggets over the Houston Rockets. No problems.
Paddy, in the news app, you mentioned to me Skinny Mallow. What about the skinny beard?
Oh, right.
Huh?
Who's going to beat skinny James Harden, eh?
I'm riding the Rockets out. I truly think that in 7 games that they are the best chance of anybody in the league to take down the Clippers. Just because the firepower they have, like we've seen it before as well. They were the only team to get close to Golden State. We know what they're capable of. Mike D'Antoni in the 7-game series knows a thing or two.
This isn't the same team that took Golden State to 7 games, Bill.
No, the core is there though. They have enough.
What core?
What core? PJ Tucker and James Harden.
That's what you just named the 2 best players of all time. It's like
by the way, we do have to explain our deep love. We do have to explain our deep love for PJ Tucker and to Jacob at some point.
The hustle king.
This guy
Anthony Leon Tucker.
My goodness.
His name is Anthony Leon Tucker, yet he calls him his name in the NBA is PJ Tucker.
I love this man.
May as well be Thanos. He's that good.
The king, the man. Like we got to do a discussion about playoff modes one day. Like players that do have a playoff mode and don't have a playoff mode. Like LeBron James. Paul George has a playoff mode, even though that's not exactly what you want. PJ Tucker is another one.
I'll be real though. I'm riding the Rockets out because they have all the talent that's required. I do agree with you, Kaz. If they're 7th, then it's a problem because if you have to play 2 LA teams on your way to the finals, it's obviously difficult. But at the same time, I don't think they're finishing 7th. I think they're going to finish the season better off than Utah, OKC, and Dallas. And who knows, they might even jump Denver. They're only 3 games back.
That's going to be tough, man.
Oh, no, I don't think they will, but it's a possibility with these schedules being absolutely
I've got 9 games
bananas. But, yeah, the Houston Rockets can play the game. I definitely think they're good enough.
They can definitely play the game of basketball. That's for sure.
I thought they'd top the West at the start of the year, and I'm riding that out. My boy Young Tom, we'll get him on here, and he'll help me. He'll help me in this discussion.
Right. If you need help, you know your argument's not good enough here.
He'll put some fuel in the fire.
Bro, the problem I see with the Rockets is that the same way that we look at the Utah Jazz, the Oklahoma City Thunder, probably the Denver Nuggets as well. I don't think they can win the championship. I can't really put them as a contender.
Kaz, I'm just going to ask you, I want a yes or no answer. Did you watch Russell Westbrook bust the Lakers' ass, bust Anthony Davis's ass, and bust Kuzma's ass all in the same night?
Yes, I watched him do it once. I watched him do it once in the regular season.
Bro, I'm telling you, no one wants the Rockets smoke. I'm telling you.
I mean, they're not obviously no one wants to play them. They're not like it's not like you're playing
no one wants
against
to play anyone.
the
No
Brooklyn
one
Nets.
wants to play the playoffs.
It's not like you're playing the Brooklyn Nets, but
wait,
I still think that there are better teams than the Houston Rockets in the NBA.
I'll be honest though, if I'm looking at these 4 to 7, Utah, OKC, Houston, and Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where would you rather finish? If you could pick any of those, 4 to 7, assuming Lakers, Clippers, Denver,
easy.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly where the Rockets are right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree because I would rather play. If I'm the Rockets, I'm backing myself to be Denver, Utah, Dallas, or OKC in the first round every time.
No, amongst those teams, if I could replace one, I would if I'm picking the Rockets to replace one and then want to replace them, I'm going to say they want to take the 5th seed and stay right there because they always have the Utah Jazz's number. They're going to get a 4-game sweep and then they're going to have all the time they want.
Wait, so what would their run be if say they leapfrogged the Thunder into the 4th seed? What would their run home be?
Into the 5th seed.
So they're 4th or 5th?
Sorry, yeah, 5th. Yeah, so if they were 5th...
They play Utah and then the winner of Zion and LeBron.
Yeah, so they'd be playing LeBron. I think that'd probably be a second round exit, so I can't say that.
I'm taking them, bro. These boys, They're making the final.
I can't
Western
say that
Conference Finals. They're making the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, but then if you see where they top out as the Western Conference Finals, can you honestly say that they're a contender?
Yeah, because they could win the Western Conference Finals.
No, I don't think they're beating the Lakers and the Clippers in one run. I don't think they have enough.
They might not have to. Like these fixtures are cooked, mate. Like who knows? Like Zion and the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, with the referees, with Adam
look,
Silver.
this is getting a bit ugly right now, but
True.
Jacob, this is probably one of the more contentious ones. What do you reckon about this? Who do you reckon from what you've just heard? Sorry, do you reckon they're a contender or a pretender? The Houston Rockets.
Hold on, Jacob. Let me just pitch a thing real quick.
No, stop pitching. You pitched for the last 20 minutes.
Houston have the guy with a guy who's basically immortalized in a strip club. Just that's all you need to know.
We've heard that many times.
And there's no strip clubs in the bubble.
I'm just reminding Jacob.
Brady's had enough.
Jacob, what have you got?
I love it.
I don't know, because like I think the Western Conference, like choosing one for me at least, is definitely more difficult than choosing.
Unfortunately, the Minnesota Timberwolves cannot be counted amongst
ice in my veins.
I forgot
in my veins.
I forgot he picked those boys.
The PR team should be number one. Right?
I agree. Yeah, fully.
Yeah, that's fact.
I don't know.
Inject ice, baby.
I don't know. I think. I don't know what to
You've broken him, Brad.
I think
you broke him.
Because I get my basketball information from you guys, and it's way easier to figure out who's going to be a decent contender in the Eastern Conference than the Western Conference.
Yes, That's definitely true.
All I can say is that the Rockets have a really cool logo. That's it.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on to the team with the worst jerseys in the league, the Dallas Mavericks, who were at one point wearing garbage bags. This really happened, and right now they have Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, and unfortunately due to injuries, not really anyone else. Are they contenders or pretenders?
No,
not contenders.
I mean, I'm excited to see playoff Luka, but they're just not ready yet. Next year could be a different story. But yeah, but the same goes. This is a team I wouldn't want to play, because we've seen what they can do. They're the best offensive team in the league for a reason. And yeah, they can get hot. Like if they're stroking, I don't want to play them.
I don't think that, like, if they're playing against the Clippers in the first round, based on what the standings currently are, they're not winning a single game, man. It's going to be rough for them. Like, Luka having Kawhi on him, that's going to be like the most, like a traumatic experience for his first playoff series.
I think it's going to be.
You're hoeing Luka, man. Like,
I think it's going to be a little bit. No, I'm with Brad. I think it's going to be difficult. I also don't think that I think it might be a similar situation to what the Miami Heat did with KD back in 2012. Just let Luka run wild, shut down everyone else.
Okay, that's also a possibility. But given that they this team has a small compared to obviously the LA Clippers or the Lakers, they have a smaller guy as their star player, which is Luka Doncic. He's not a small guy by any means, but
he's 6'7", Brad.
Yeah, but I'm saying as in. Like if he's matched up with anyone from even Patrick Beverley can guard him to some extent, but he's not going to. Kawhi Leonard on him, Paul George on him.
I fully disagree. I think Luka, the most underrated part of Luka's game right now is how strong he is. I don't think people understand. Hey,
Brad,
he's been in the weight room and how much he's been putting on and putting the work in.
Kawhi and Luka are almost the same size. Yeah.
But I'm saying
they're literally the same size.
I'm saying that this team has a wide variety of guys who they could put on him.
Yeah, they can throw a lot of players at him. They can.
Whereas if you have someone
Kawhi,
like Anthony Davis, you definitely can't put Patrick Beverley on him.
You could try.
Yeah.
Well,
that's essentially what I'm getting at. But
I'm not writing Luka off, man. I refuse. He's the man. No one is on the same level as Luka Doncic at this point. Sorry, let me say it right so you don't yell at me. Luka Doncic at this point in his career. I'm not writing this kid off. I don't care who they're
Hey
playing.
Jacob, you know those Giannis discussions that we were having just before?
Yes.
This is another one.
This is another one.
Luka,
This is another one.
He's unreal, bro. He's
Bill, we know. We're not saying that he's not. All we're saying is that he's probably going to get his ass handed to him because, one, this is his first playoff series. Two, it's probably going to be against the Clippers. Not a contender.
I don't know why are you guys using the current seedings when there's one game between 4 and 7?
Because they've lost 3 more games than Houston have.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Bro,
but anyway,
it doesn't matter because they have
already getting ugly.
Yeah, I just want to say before we move on from the Mavs.
Next team.
Before we move on from the Mavs, I just want to say I've looked up that uniform and it is disgusting.
Yeah,
yeah, it's hideous. That is absolutely hideous.
Absolute joke.
All right, so from this point on, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzlies are 18 games back, but the rest of the teams are like 3 to 6 games behind the 8th seed. So at this point, let's just discuss whether they are contenders for that 8th seed. Because if we're talking about like the Kings at this point, they've been written off. But we can talk about the others, see how they can do for this run to get the 8th seed. So first up, Memphis Grizzlies. They're the ones who currently hold the position. Do you reckon they'll hold it?
I think Portland have a fair chance of leapfrogging them, although I would not be surprised if they were the 8th seed, the Memphis Grizzlies.
I mean, they got a 3.5 game buffer.
Yeah.
I'd back them in. But yeah, same as Kat, I won't be surprised because it's going to be madness. These last, 7, 8, 9 games. I'd assume they hold it. They are a solid team. But
it's going to be tough. I think
Pelicans with the equivalent schedule of versing the Knicks every single night. It's hard, man. But
I think the Pelicans could actually overtake them. But
I'm going to say
so could the Trailblazers. But yeah, I think because I've got 3.5 games on both teams, I think the most likely scenario is the Grizzlies hold on to their spot.
I think the Grizzlies hold it as well because if you look at the teams that the Trailblazers have to face, it is rough. I mean,
everyone plays.
The thing is, if you look at who the Grizzlies have to face, it's like I think it's only one top 3 team in the entire from both conferences.
Yeah, but see, I don't know, this whole scheduling thing. I think it could be a bit overrated. Like you can't really tell me the Bucks and the Lakers, Clippers, Raptors, these guys are going to care too much about trying to win every single game. I think it'll be more about
getting back
tuned up for the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about playing teams who are like
hungry
5th down. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play like OKC, Dallas, for talking Western teans. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be
like playing relegation teams in the Premier League, Bill.
Yeah. These next 2 weeks. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be about that.
It'd probably be easier to play like probably the Lakers or
Liverpool.
Clippers.
You'd rather play Liverpool right now than
Southampton. Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
All right, so we've talked about the Portland Trailblazers right there, but what about the other teams? I mean, the Pelicans are just about all healthy. They have their entire squad. I mean, we did talk about Zion in the news episode, but I mean, the guy will probably be back for the games. Do you reckon? Do you reckon they could leapfrog the Grizzlies?
Yes.
So they could, but do you think they will? Let's put it that way.
They could. So I don't think they will.
I went through every game once they released the schedule really quickly and just put it like a win-loss. And I actually had the Pelicans finishing on the same amount of wins as Memphis. So I won't be surprised if they do. But yeah, the 3.5 game buffer is too much. What is it going to be? 9 games, I think, for both of them, approx. I think it's just too much. Like, unless you never know. It's going to be hectic. I can't wait. It's actually hectic.
You know what's kind of annoying though? If they're not going to do this is kind of taking on from our last episode, if they're not going to count these 9 games towards like the MVP race or whatever, why does it count towards the seeding?
True.
Yeah, no, it's a.
The
I
only-
think the reason
yeah,
they have to do that is because otherwise the players like literally have no motivation at all to play these.
Yeah.
Like, you know, how they would just see it as like 6 practice games.
And I think the league knows jumping straight into playoffs would not be ideal. And then there's obviously the argument, Kaz, I guess, team saying, well, we're meant to have 20 games left. We could have made playoffs. The argument for Portland and New Orleans, who have should I say, the easier schedule if their full fixture was still going ahead. But yeah, it's a bit weird. I think we can put not an asterisk, a line through the Spurs and Phoenix.
And the Kings as well. Kings.
Sorry, yeah, they were already dead to me.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
But
Yeah, I think after the Pelicans, there's not much.
At that point, it's just like they were trying to get to a certain number, and yeah. But with that, we've wrapped up whether we, our discussion for the whether they're contenders for the 8th seed or whether they're contenders for the finals. So let's just based on who we think is going to be in that position. Do you want to quickly run through the playoff matchups? See how we go there.
Yeah. I had my standings somewhere.
Yeah, so right off the top, we've got number 1. That's probably the number 1 seed versus the 8th seed. That could be either Memphis, Portland, or the Pelicans. I mean, I don't think there's a chance. I mean, if it's the Trailblazers, I think the Lakers might lose 1 or 2 games in that. But apart from that, if it's the Grizzlies or the Pelicans, I don't think the Lakers lose a single game in those series.
Yeah, I don't think they get out of first gear for those 2 teams. I think that Lakers easily. I think if the standings are as they are now, if the Clippers play the Mavs, I think the Clippers probably win in 5, maybe 4.
So
Utah versus... No, sorry, not Utah. Denver versus Houston. I've probably got Houston. Ooh, that's actually going to be a really good series.
Yes, that's for sure.
That
will be the series to watch, I reckon, for the first.
That's going to be a good one.
Those middle 2, the Nuggets and the Rockets and and then Utah versus Oklahoma City. Those ones will be the fun ones. And I said this about the Eastern Conference as well.
It's most years though, yeah.
Yeah.
You did say it, yeah. Like in most years, the 1 seed's going to slap the 8 seed. And then even in recent years, the 2 seed's good enough. I had my standings. I had the top 4 the same. Then Houston 5th, Mavs 6th, OKC 7.
Wow. Okay.
Grizzlies 8.
Okay.
That's going through every game.
Yeah.
So it's fairly same. It's just Houston, Utah, which like recent years, I think Houston win. Nuggets, Mavs would be super cool as well. I think the Denver first round, if it's against anyone except for Utah, it's going to be pretty good. Because I think it could go sort of either way. I think they'd kill Utah, but against OKC, Houston, or the Mavs would be interesting.
I think they'd kill OKC.
I'm gonna say
I don't know if they would. I think they'd beat them. I don't think they'd hand it to them though.
Sorry, who would beat OKC?
Denver.
I
think they would, but I don't think it would be a swift.
I reckon the Jazz are a better matchup for the Nuggets. But then, yeah, all right. Anyway, what's the next one?
That's all of them, my friend. You wrapped up yours really quickly. Bill, what have you got, mate?
I had a good. Oh no, I've closed it.
Yeah, I actually reckon Denver versus the Rockets is a coin toss, and then yeah, same goes with the Jazz versus the Thunder. I would probably take Utah over OKC.
That's a 50-50, I reckon.
I'm gonna take okay for that one. I wanna just get your takes because I take OKC over Utah.
I probably would too if I had to pick. I probably would as well.
Why is that?
I think that first of all, we have there's been a lot of reports about it as well, but the situation between Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert is still strange.
Yeah.
Going in from the regular season, there were situations where Donovan Mitchell would have 28 points on 28 field goal attempts, and he would say, and people would be telling his teammates would apparently be telling him to pass the ball, and he would laugh it off, saying, "Ha, I have 28." I mean, if that
it's fair. He shoots a lot.
It's a lot, and it's a lot from both of those. I think that especially if they still had Ricky Rubio, I'm taking the Utah Jazz any day, but they don't, and Chris Paul is old enough and smart enough to know how to just tear apart a slow-moving big man.
Yeah, but then does Chris Paul have the weapons at his disposal that he needs to actually beat the Utah Jazz? Because the Jazz are a solid, well-coached team.
I reckon they do, man. I would take OKC as well, honest.
Right.
I would. I think they have enough. I think, I mean, and just the way they closed out games, like in the last probably 10, 15, 20 games before the halt to the season. Yeah. I mean, as I said earlier, I wouldn't want to play OKC in the first round at all. I'd be trying to avoid them. I feel bad for Utah. I truly think they're going to lose in the first round. I don't think it matters who they play. I think they're going to lose in the first round.
All right. Shall we move on to weekly malnourishment from there? I think we're all pretty malnourished at this point.
Yeah, haven't had lunch yet.
Let's do it.
Yeah, me either.
Very malnourished.
We're actually malnourished.
All right. So Miami Heat writer Jason Jackson was saying that, the Miami Heat match up extremely well with Milwaukee, but on the other side of it, they have not figured out Boston at all. And essentially, he called it a Beauty and the Beast matchup. And I want to know what, like, for you guys, if you can't figure out Beauty and the Beast, then maybe love-hate relationship. But like, what's something you have a Beauty and the Beast situation with? If I were to give you an example for myself, I would say that anyone who knows me is like, especially like Jacob would have seen a couple of times when we go karaoke, I love singing. Yes. But I have the worst voice for it.
I was about to say, but no one loves hearing you sing? Or?
Exactly that. I know, like, give me a week, I'm fluent in Japanese. I can pick up any song within a week, less than that. And I know a whole lot of them, but I can just not get anything close to a good voice out there. So people are trying to get the microphone away from me.
That's cool.
That's bad.
So there's a pretty big obstacle in the way of me achieving my wishes.
So for me, Beauty and the Beast relationship would probably be drawing. Like, I love art. I would love to be able to draw, but I do not have an ounce of artistic capabilities with my hands. I cannot draw anything.
Your graphs and tables for work are a piece of art, mate.
Yeah, but I do that on software. That's easy. That's easy.
I feel the same way, Kaz. Like, if you put something in front of me, like if I have like a photo or something, I can draw it like fairly well. But then if you just like gave me a pen and paper and you're like, draw this, I'd be like,
yeah,
I could draw a stick figure, but I'd be like, eh. But then at the same time, make them Excel spreadsheets, make them graphs. We'll do that all day long.
The spreadsheets are the piss, but then I wish I could draw up my hands. It just seems like such a satisfying thing to do as well.
Yeah,
I really just wish I could.
I'd love to be one of those people who can you get those like design plans of like houses, but then being able to go off of that and then design e.g. kitchen and that, and being able to draw it how it would look from a view and stuff.
Yeah.
But man, I would just draw a bird's eye view and be like square fridge.
Jacob, I always look forward to these with you, mate. What have you got for us?
Yeah, come on, Jacob.
I guess now that you guys started talking, I've maybe got two or three. First one would be Japanese. It's something I really love learning, but sometimes I get incredibly frustrated when I can't figure out what something says. And I just need to tell myself, it's okay, move on, you'll get it later. But
it's a foreign language.
Yeah, it's it'd be so annoying when I understand every word in the sentence individually, but when I'm trying to put the word together, to pass it together, I'm just I don't really get what it says. But I know, it's already happened before. I'll come back a month later and I'll reread it, and I'm like, that's what that means. Okay.
Look at Brad, that sly bastard. He's probably just thinking, this Jacob.
Plebs. Yeah. Your monolingualism disgusts me. Then the other one would probably be actually what Pride says, singing. I have done.
I think we could all say that one.
for like quite a few years actually. And it's something I always come back to. And I think I have a good tone, but I've never really been able to hear pitch. Like I'm like, oh, it's high or it's low, but I've never been able to get like a more specific than that. And the same with like screaming as well. Some days I'll be absolutely killing it. Voice sounds great, good tone, good range. And then other days I'll go to do it and I just hurt myself. And it's like, what's changed? I'm not sure.
Didn't have the right coffee in the morning.
I don't know. It could be anything. Could not have warmed up properly. Could not have drunk enough water. Could have slept with my mouth open too much the night before. I don't know. Like it's all those sort of factors.
Yeah.
And then I'd say the last one is actually audio editing. It's something I actually really like doing. It's something I really like doing, but I always finish and I go, yeah, that's good, but I'm not 100% happy with it. And it's like a constant battle. And the more I get into it again, after shaking the rust off the chains, the more I'm like, okay, well, actually listening back.
Is that a euphemism, Jacob?
Next time, huh?
Is that a euphemism? Shaking the rust off the chains?
Off the chains, like you just get back into it. Yeah. And and it's just like
I can relate to that.
Yeah, there's a few things where I'm just like, okay, I listen back, and I'm like, oh, could have done that a bit better. And it's just stuff like for a long time I was using the same sort of like setup plugin wise, and I was like, okay, that'll be good for now. Just get it clean. And then I was listening back, I'm like, actually, I'm not happy with that anymore. And so I've gone out and I've actually spent a whole bunch of money, and hopefully the things that I bought will make things a bit better.
I like to throw money at my problems as well.
Hey, so I think we've actually still got enough time for the love-hate relationship one. What's something you guys have a love-hate relationship with?
Oh boy.
Audio editing.
Karan, I think you have an obvious answer right up the front. Can you give it to us?
Apple devices. Easy. I love the computers because like they're Unix based, which is fantastic if you're into programming and that sort of stuff. And also the OS is incredibly stable, unlike Windows, which is also fantastic. But then the problem, like there's just so many little annoyances, like the mouse acceleration curve makes no sense. So it's impossible to do anything with the mouse on an Apple computer. And then, just the fact that they cost so much money for what you get.
I don't have like, it's not quite a love hate, but it's fairly close. I don't really eat it that often, but it's easily the quickest enjoy to regret ratio of all.
HSP?
It's
Crispy Creeps?
KFC.
Ooh, yeah. That was going to be the next one.
Yeah, I feel like you can just go out and like, you're like, oh, I don't know what to get. And then it's like, oh, I'll get KFC. And while you're eating it, it's like, oh, this is all right. And then like, like 20 minutes later, even, as soon as you stand up and leave the venue, you're just like, why did I
What have I done?
Yeah, what have I done?
Yeah, I just want to quickly say that was my first meal of 2020.
Oh, regrets. And now here we are, Jacob.
We are. I'm sorry. I just want to take full acceptance for the coronavirus. I'm sorry. I had KFC as my first meal, and now here we are.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob, I think mine was a beer, so you're fine.
Fair enough.
I think it was beer, dude.
Yeah. What's
close out?
You guys on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Harsh, but fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
True.
Say no
That's
more.
fair.
Say no more.
Yeah. What's mine actually? Maybe computers. I think because like I love them. I think they do a whole bunch of great things. But then there's just times like I don't like spending money on them. They always need maintenance. They get out of date, and then I have to spend more money, and that makes me sad.
You a desktop or a laptop user?
Desktop. I have a laptop. It's from 2011, so I don't really use it anymore.
It's still alive?
Also, like, try to squeeze the last bit of life out of it by making it run Linux, which helped for about a couple of months before it was like, nah, I'm just too old now. Okay.
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
not even like the lightest weight distro you can find?
I haven't actually tried the last weight. I might do that. But
I'm pretty sure
it's
there are
also
toasters
time.
that can run Linux, man.
Yeah. I don't know. This computer, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out.
All right, that brings us right about to the end of our episode. So thank you very much for listening to this Western Conference Pretenders and Contenders. And guys, did you know that once a dozen bodies were once found in Benjamin Franklin's basement? Yeah, so thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.